At 10:42 a.m. on a cool spring morning in Brighton Beach, Melbourne, the wedding guests began to whisper. The ceremony was already delayed by nearly 20 minutes. Before we begin, take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who loves true crime stories like this. And as you listen, comment below where you're watching from. Australia, the UK, Canada, anywhere in the world, I read every comment. Now let's begin. The groom stood at the altar, hands clasped tightly in front of him, eyes fixed on the aisle. The celebrant checked his watch. The bridesmaids shifted nervously in their heels. Phones vibrated quietly in pockets. The bride had not appeared. Then, finally, the music started. When Evelyn Hart stepped into view, several guests gasped, not in admiration, but in confusion. Her lips were swollen. Not slightly. Not subtly. They were bruised, stretched, uneven, still healing. Fresh stitch marks were visible beneath heavy makeup. Her smile trembled as she walked, her eyes scanning the crowd desperately, searching for one person. The groom. Liam O'Connell stared at her like he was looking at a stranger. What happened next would end the wedding before a single vow was spoken. And set off a chain of events that, 2 weeks later, would draw detectives, journalists, and an entire Melbourne suburb into one of the most disturbing cases of emotional collapse and obsession anyone could remember. Evelyn had always been the kind of woman who tried a little too hard. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just eager. The type who over-prepared, over-apologized, overthought. Growing up in Geelong, she was never bullied, but she was never chosen first either. She blended into classrooms, into group photos, into life. Teachers described her as sweet but forgettable. That word, forgettable, stayed with her. By her late 20s, Evelyn worked as a dental receptionist in central Melbourne. She lived alone in a small apartment near Street Kilda Road, spent her evenings scrolling through Instagram, watching other women her age get engaged, married, pregnant, celebrated. She compared herself constantly. Her nose. Her skin. Her lips. Especially her lips. Social media made it worse. Influencers from Sydney, London, Toronto, all glossy smiles and full lips and captions about self-confidence paired with surgeon tags. That's when Evelyn met Liam. They met at a corporate charity fundraiser near Southbank. Liam was charming in a quiet way. Early 30s. Project manager. Calm, polite, dependable. He wasn't flashy, but he was steady, and for Evelyn, steady felt like safety. At first, Liam never commented on her appearance. He complimented her kindness. Her organization. Her thoughtfulness. But over time, little comments slipped in. You'd look amazing with just a bit more volume. Have you ever thought about fillers? Everyone's doing it now. It's normal. He said it casually. Never demanding. Never cruel. But Evelyn heard it loudly. By the time he proposed during a weekend trip to Byron Bay, she was already convinced the ring came with conditions, even if he never said them out loud. 3 weeks before the wedding, Evelyn booked the appointment. A private cosmetic clinic in Gold Coast, recommended by a friend of a friend. The surgeon promised subtle enhancement. A natural bridal glow. The procedure went wrong. Severe swelling. Internal tearing. Unexpected complications. The doctor reassured her it would settle before the wedding. It didn't. Panicking, Evelyn told Liam she needed space before the ceremony. That she wanted him to miss her. That it would make the wedding more romantic. In reality, she didn't want him to see her face. For 14 days, she stayed inside her apartment. Ice packs. Painkillers. Mirrors covered with towels. She practiced smiling without splitting the stitches. She rehearsed walking down the aisle, telling herself it would all be worth it. Because once he saw her, he would love her more. Back at the ceremony, Liam didn't wait. He didn't whisper. He didn't ask questions. He stepped away from the altar. In front of 120 guests, he said quietly, "I can't do this." And he walked out. No explanation. No argument. Evelyn stood frozen, bouquet slipping from her hands. The photographer kept shooting until someone told him to stop. That was the last time anyone saw Evelyn smile. If you're finding this story gripping so far, subscribe now. Stories like this take time to research and create, and your support helps keep this channel alive. Now let's continue. In the days after the failed wedding, Evelyn disappeared socially. She didn't return messages. She didn't answer calls. Neighbors noticed packages piling up outside her door. Her workplace reported her absent without notice. At first, friends assumed heartbreak. But then came the emails. Long, rambling messages sent to Liam. Apologies. Accusations. Confessions. Promises. Threats. Sometimes all in one paragraph. He blocked her. That's when the first investigation quietly began. Not by police, but by Evelyn's older sister, Marianne, who lived in Perth. Marianne flew to Melbourne when Evelyn stopped responding altogether. Inside the apartment, nothing looked disturbed. But something felt wrong. Evelyn's laptop was open. Dozens of tabs. Cosmetic surgery forums. Wedding photos. Liam's LinkedIn profile. Google searches like: how long does rejection trauma last? Can facial surgery change your personality? How to make someone regret leaving you? And then, 2 weeks after the wedding, Evelyn vanished. Her phone was found abandoned near Prince's Pier, battery removed. CCTV showed her arriving alone just before dawn. Police initially ruled it a mental health crisis. Until a second plot twist surfaced. A witness came forward. A woman walking her dog reported seeing Evelyn arguing with a man near the pier that morning, a man who looked very much like Liam. Liam denied it. Phone records placed him at home. But something didn't add up. Detectives reopened the case. Was Evelyn chasing closure? Or was someone else trying to silence her? And then came the final, chilling discovery. A scheduled post on Evelyn's private blog, set to publish 3 days after her disappearance. It ended with one sentence. I changed my face for love, but love changed everything else. The post never explained what happened next. And neither did Evelyn. Because what truly happened after she altered her face to look sexy for him on their wedding day will shock you. If you want part 2, make sure you're subscribed, like this video, share it, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from.